And sleep is driven by respiration when you sleep at night, right? Because I mean, think about it this way. I mean, if you stop breathing at night when you're sleeping, one, you can die. That's not a good thing. But a lot of people have that 1,000 times a night where they have sleep apnea,
Yeah.
obstruction. So that they wake up, but they're not sleeping through the night. So it's up. They don't even know they're waking up. They're getting out of this state because the brain power washing happens in the deep sleep of the brain. It doesn't happen all night. It happens in this magic window that few people reach. But you never get that clean, and then you're just exhausted because you have sleep apnea. And some people breathe with their mouth wide open at night. I was one of those people as well, like this. And you automatically shut down that system when you breathe through your mouth. Right? But I'm going to go back to it again. One of the reasons that people might struggle to breathe through the nose and have to have their mouth open and they have sleep apnea is because they have such congestion in the sinuses from congested lymphatics. They're so swollen in the deep lymph nodes of the neck that they choke off ever so slightly, flow to the brain and away from the brain. And then the body has to find a way to work around that. And sometimes it opens the mouth, which changes the way that the airway flows and the blood flows. A lot of people grind at night when they sleep, and grinding of the teeth can come from an underlying stress response. But they're also finding that grinding is a way to open up the airway to have you get air.
Huh.
So you're clenching and like that way. And that really works the power muscles on the side of the head called your masseter in the jaw, and then on your temple called your temporalis. Those muscles, when you grind it like that, okay, you change the blood flow in the brain. So there's a lot of interconnecting puzzle pieces here. I know for me personally, I struggled to breathe through my nose during the day and while sleeping because I just couldn't breathe in there. It was so clogged. It had so much mucus. And think about that. What did I tell you already is the power of the nose? If you have a lot of sinuses and postnasal drip and mucus, you got lymph issues. Right? And they tell you with breathing, close your mouth and breathe through your nose. And you're like, I'd love to, man, but I can't. But then that's when I tell people do the big six first. And then you'll likely notice that that was transformational for me. It was probably one of the most emotional times in my life, my friend, because for 10 years I just couldn't breathe through my nose and I was always sniffing and clearing my throat, and it started to interfere with my personal life and my teaching and my social life, because I was doing it every 5 seconds, and plus my health was really, really suffering at the same time. But the first time that I could actually breathe in and out through my nose for an entire day, oh my goodness, it was something where my body was like, "Now you're talking, man." This is good, but it's a testament again to how all these different systems are interconnected. So sometimes I'll tell people, try to do the big six before you go to sleep and see if that makes a difference for you. And plus, when you can keep your mouth closed, you breathe better through your diaphragm, which increases the pressure in your body. So you actually create more of a suction of the brain fluid towards your collarbone.
Mm.
It's like a suction effect. I still have to tape my mouth shut at night for me. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of that is just because I'm 56 years old, and for 46 of them, my nervous system is adapted to breathing with my mouth open at night when you sleep. So it just kind of subconsciously goes there. So even taping your mouth shut at night can help your lymphatic system. the brain system.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've always said, as someone, Perry, who's had, you know, similar to you, chronic gut issues and sinus issues for most of my life, like, people don't appreciate how good it feels to have just a good poo or to breathe through the nose. Like, they are generally transformative when it comes to how people feel. And unless you've experienced what it's like to breathe through your mouth 24/7, it's horrible. So yeah.
Yeah, it's exhausting in so many different ways because you're just extending so much energy to do that you shouldn't. And it really stresses the muscles in the neck, the shoulders, your traps and upper back, and then that feeds tension everywhere. Because what'll happen is that when you're a mouth breather, your head will automatically end up going further over your shoulders forward. And then your tongue, as opposed to resting at the roof of your mouth where it should be, the whole tongue, front, middle, and back, it lays in the bottom, the floor of the mouth. And then that changes your airway. And then when you go forward like this, guess what I did? I put kinks in my fluid pipes, my drain pipes, both ways. That's why if you can close your mouth, put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and breathe through your nose, that tongue placement automatically changes your neck alignment, and it changes pressure in your neck and in your head. And then it's called intracranial pressure, inside the skull. You automatically get a better suction effect when you're doing that. Okay. So that's why one of the things I tell people is that close your mouth, put your tongue at the roof of your mouth, and do your big six. Then you're locking in those two. If it's hard to do that, then, do your big six and then put the tongue up and go through your mouth. See if that opens up the airway. And same with pooping. When you can breathe through your nose as opposed to your mouth, you automatically engage what's called the thoracic diaphragm, which is a muscle that sits above your organs and at the bottom of your ribs, that when you inhale, it contracts like making a bicep and it pushes the organs down. And when you exhale, the muscle relaxes. It's like relaxing the bicep, and then the organs come back up. And you do that over and over and over, like a couple thousand times a day. That moves the organs. And then when you move those organs, you help poop. You help bowel movements go, right? So you not only help the brain and help the muck inside the head, but you help the poop. And that's going to help you because you can be really toxic when you can't poop. You don't want that stuff staying inside of you. So you have poop actually in your colon, and you have poop in your brain. Both. So because the brain and the gut talk to each other, it's called the gut-brain axis. So it goes both ways like that, right? So breathing and pooping, they're formed. I don't really like to use the term detoxification anymore because sometimes it's a trigger word. And believe it or not, some people in medicine don't even believe there is such a thing as a detoxification. And I'm like, did you read the same books I'm reading? But I come to terms that it's more so the word than anything else. I just call it waste management because that's what it is. So you poop all the stuff out. And remember, where's the majority of your lymph located? In your gut. And then you also breathe out a huge amount of toxins through your nose. Carbon dioxide being a big one, but also other stuff as well. That's why you can notice, man, your breath really stinks, but that means you're probably really toxic in your colon because you're not pooping, or you're toxic in your lymph, but it's got to go out freaking somewhere. Or you have a lot of bacteria that's overrunning your mouth and your gums and your gut, and then it's got to go out that way. So here's another cool bonus. When you start to work your lymph, you start to work your glymph, and you start to poop, maybe your breath smells a lot better too. right? So your social life automatically gets a little bit better.